What would you define as the MJ Murdock Charitable Trust core organizational values?
I'll start with what I think is a principle, and it's a principle that precedes the values. We work from a core principle of staying true to original donor intent. Our work is to keep that donor intent of Jack Murdock evergreen and also consistent with the original trustees that Jack appointed who knew him. And so, in that spirit, we work to do a few things that are a part of our corporate values, which I'll also say as we're refreshing and updating our strategy, we're thinking about and reviewing. And so in that list of things is to exercise humility. That is a core and central value for us as a trust. We want to exercise that in the care for our grantees, our partners, our stakeholders, our employees. We believe in engaging relationally, which speaks to really being people focused and community minded. We have a value of pursuing excellence through continuous improvement and innovation. We focus on exercising stewardship, really in thinking about not just the grants we make, but the investments that we oversee. And for us, that stewardship is of every resource that we have. And it's of also stewarding Jack's legacy and again, his original donor intent. And so that shows up for us in the work that we do in scientific research, our initiatives around all of that work, values that were important to Jack around the health of people and communities, and particularly the places in which they live, democracy, civic engagement, arts, culture, education, which, when you think about those as his values in our sectors, you can see that real alignment and commitment to legacy over time. And then one that I would say is a value of the trust is around being a faith-friendly institution, particularly in today's context, allowing people to be not just human at work and to bring their full self, which includes their faith, but also in the way that we serve our grantees and ensuring that we pay attention to the validity of science, and I like to say the value of faith.
Wonderful. In what ways, if any, are the trust's organizational values different than from other philanthropic organizations, perhaps such as the Lilly Endowment or the Templeton Foundation?
What I'd say 15 months in, I wouldn't say I'm a student of other foundations enough to compare us specifically. But what I can say is we're distinguished by a few things in the way that we operate generally in philanthropy and particularly in our region. When you think about the funders in our region, one is we're highly accessible. I like to make this analogy just because I think it really brings home the point. When it comes to grant making, we're kind of open 24/7. Organizations have access to us and our grant making 365 days of the year. We've got a regional focus, which is unique and for an organization of our size. And then we really focus on operational capacity building, which really puts us at major inflection points in organizations, right? Points of growth, points of change, points of transition, where they're moving from one state to the next. And the
Mm.
way we partner and come alongside them, given our scale, is very relational in that we try to come alongside as a partner. In their process to help them build that capacity. And we think about the organizations we support over the long term. We're a long-term grantor with a 3-year funding cycle for our strategic grants. And so all of those things are real distinctives of the trust in the region.
In what ways, if any, do philanthropic organizations learn from one another?
One of the benefits that philanthropic organizations have is that we have the power to convene. And so I would say not only do we learn from one another, I think we learn from each other's grantees, each other's initiatives, each other's demonstrated work and effectiveness. And so you've got leader to leader collaboration. You've got what I might call cohorts of leaders who convene and learn from each other around specific topics. And then as philanthropic organizations, we have the ability to convene and hopefully to add value first and foremost to our grantees, collaborators, and stakeholders who we bring together. But then we have that ability to invite each other into those convenings and also to share the learnings that we have from them. And that we've got some great examples of places where we've done that. We did essentially a convening and learning cohort with another foundation around
Yeah.
arts and the future of arts and the business models. And it's a great example of that work.